Hi everyone, welcome to the next video in this Rooms of Wonder series. Today I am going to start with this lovely little bee. I think he's absolutely gorgeous. So I'm going to grab my winterberry and do his wings. Now bees' wings can be quite complex and tricky, or you can make them really simple. I'm doing a simple idea where I'm layering up here and just fading towards the tip. I'm going to try and make sure there's some grey on every part of the wing, but just not so much at the end. Now you could try and get a sort of iridescent mother of pearl look by combining pinks and whites and blues and greens. You could, something I do which is much easier, is take a glitter pen or some stickles and put them over the wing once you're done, to give it a shine. Now this wing is over the top of this book. In theory you could draw in this missing bit through the wing as if you're looking through it, because they are generally see-through, but again it's a bit too complicated for what I want from this page. I don't think it's going to make a huge difference if we just make it grey. Now grey doesn't seem like the most fancy colour, but you know, that's how I'm doing it. There we go. Now the body, normally bees, yellow and black. We don't have that option, so we're going to play around a little bit. I'm going to start with the my yellow. Now this says saffron. It's very difficult to read on the yellow. Could do with black print on some of these and white on others. Never mind. I'm going to do this big ball. It's so nice and fluffy, and I'm going to try and make it a little bit darker on the edges and a little bit lighter in the middle. So all the way around the edge with quite a dark-ish bit like that, and then bring it in gently, doing a little less towards the middle like that. Can even leave a little bit white with some paper showing through. It's quite hard to see whether you have done that or not. Yeah. And then this stripe here. So I'm going to go dark here and fade towards the middle, doing less layers. Now you could use a secondary yellow as well, but I quite like just using the one colour, keeping it nice and simple. There we go. Now the other part, we don't have a black, because obviously we're working in our pastel tint colours. I say obviously, I didn't explain that at the beginning, did I? I'm sorry. We're using pastel tints, so we don't have a black. So I am looking for a colour that might just work a little bit. And I am thinking that this is a slightly brownish colour. It's called Cream Rose, and I'm going to try this. I mean, we are going to have to be open-minded with regards to colour, because we don't have the great choice of the darker shades, but I think that will help to make me more creative, more thoughtful, and have a lot of fun at the same time. So I'm trying to leave that white bit, so hopefully there's a sort of whitish line going right down, so he looks quite shiny. But his eyes I want to make darker. Normally I would do the eyes black, but the same as the head, and the same the little limbs in this colour too. Just keeping it really straightforward. There he is. Now underneath our bee we have a ring. That's where I'm going next. Now I think I'd quite like to try and make it look a little bit gold, but I'm challenged by my colours. I'm going to try. Okay, let's see if it works. Now let's start with our Inca gold, which we've used for all our stars, so I need to be careful not overdo it. I don't want it as bright as here. So I'm going to start at the base of that little holder. Just put a bit here and a bit here. I don't want it too dark. Now normally I would go from brown to light brown to golds to yellows. We've started with our brownish gold. It's the nearest we've got. So I'm thinking maybe if we use that saffron that we use for our bee next, could try that. You can't see, sorry. So extend that area a little bit, pressing quite hard, not as hard as to spoil the paper, but I just want lots of layers. And then I'm going to use a final yellowy colour. I think we're going to have to grab the mimosa. Again, you'll never read this unless you've got wonder eyes, and extend that and leave a little white bit for shine. I think it gives the impression that I'm trying to make it look gold. I don't know. Now the jewel. Normally with jewels I will use a very dark colour so it really stands out and looks quite shiny. Now I do have that in this set, even though these are pastels. We have a hydrangea, which is for me quite a dark purple. So I'm going to use that. Now I could do sharpening. My sharpener's next door. I'm going to put some colour at the bottom and just fade it up towards the centre, and on this bit fade it to the tip because it's such a small ring. If we can leave a little bit of white, it looks a bit like it's shiny. Okay, and now we've got this chain which is actually going through the top of our bottle, or pendant. We've got a pendant here and the chain's going through. I'm going to do the chain now. It's got these little dots on which I think look like beads, and I'm going to colour them in quite a bright colour again because they're so small. I'm going to use this camelia, which is a very bright, almost neon-y pink, and I think it will show up, because if I used a pale like a grey to make it look like a pearl, I just don't think we would see that I'd actually coloured it. So that is my next, that's my sort of idea with this. Now I realise it's joined to this pendant. We might not do the pendant today. I'm going to see in a minute how much time we've got, and I'm trying to keep the videos a sort of shortish length so it makes a nice long series and it isn't too daunting. Each little session isn't too daunting. Let me see. I haven't been too long. We can do another element. Ideally something that's in shot. I'm thinking this bottle is in shot, so I'll do that. I'll just move across a tab. I feel like it's quite fun to just do things that we can see and not dotting all over the page. It also helps me choose, otherwise I would be like, where am I going next? So we've got this, and we haven't done any oranges yet, so I'm thinking maybe I will use some orange on the flowers just to make it fun. So this is called Coral Blush, but it's actually quite a dark orange, and I'm going to use it for all the flowers, the centres and the petals. Now they're quite small, I'm just blocking it in. I'm not worried about trying to shade, and you imagine this isn't supposed to be a flower, it's supposed to be a picture on the bottle, so it would probably be, I'm guessing, some sort of painting on a label, so it's not going to be probably shaded. Some paintings are, of course they are, but you know, I think it works like this. Now I think we want to use this elsewhere, because I'm thinking this whole bit I'm going to treat as if it's the label, or across from there. So this frame I'm thinking is part of it, and I'm going to use this colour. I think it's quite nice to sort of use the same colours across the label. I think that's what you would see in a label. I don't know. And this bit too. I like that stopper. Looking forward to doing that. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. There we go. So we've used that quite a bit. I could have made the centre of the flowers a different colour, but now we want our leaves. I don't think I want a more of a yellowy type colour. I think I'm going to go for the juniper lime, which is more of an olivey colour. I think it goes better with orange compared with a sort of bluey green, which I'm not sure really works very well. But I may be proved wrong as I work through my colour cubes, pick out different cards. I find there are all sorts of colour combos that I would never have dreamt of doing. Now I am thinking I might use this green colour up here on the stopper, just to, you know, we've used the pink a lot, so that's what I'm going to do. Now Johanna's left us a little white shine bit, which is very useful, so we can use that. But what I tend to do is build up the colour along the edge and then fade it towards the middle where it would catch the light, and it makes it look more rounded as well. And just because we're using pastels doesn't mean we can't sort of build that colour up a bit. Now I've only got 48, I say only. I know some sets have 50. I think there's a Brut Funa macarons, or maybe they're two separate sets, I don't know. Now, and they have 50, and as do the Holbeins, but I'm sure you could find similar colours even in your standard pencil sets. Now, where the cork or stopper goes through the glass rim, you would see a little bit of the green. So I'm just going to put a bit in there that you would see through. There we go. Now we've got the back of the sticker and the bottle. I'm thinking I'm going to make the bottle a lighter orange and the back of the label a lighter green. Okay, so I want firstly a light green that's going to look okay with this colour, and I'm thinking actually we don't have an exact match, but I think this begonia, I'm just looking on my swatch sheet, yes, I think it'll work. So this is the rest of the label, so here you can see it's quite pale. I'm going to work a few layers down so that we can actually see it, but you can see it's paler than the leaves and things, which is what I wanted, because I don't want it to stand out too much, just to look as if it's there, if that makes any sense. Like that. Now we don't really have a line around this bit. I'm wondering, I think I might just take it to the bottom like that, and then behind the flowers as well. You could do behind the flowers as if you can see the bottle through, but I think it's easier not to. So I'm taking the easy route. Why not? And actually there's writing there, so maybe it would be a label. Don't be afraid to work the pencil in quite a few layers to get the colour down there. Don't be tempted to press really hard and dent or spoil your paper. There we go. So we've just got this little bit of the bottle left. So I want a paler sort of orange, and I'm thinking I might just go for the petunia blush, although it's quite vibrant. Maybe the rose will be better. Rosa, sorry. This is called Rosa, but it is in no way rose coloured. It's more a light orange. I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to put a little bit down. I want it to be visible, so I need to build up the layers a little bit, but I don't want it to look really dark. And here I'm going to, we've got a sort of shine here and here. We want that to continue down into this bit of glass as well. So if we just bring it in like that and take that label down. Now, if I was doing this, I mean take it down the side label. If I was doing this in a slightly darker colour, I would use a bit of white pen to try and show some shine. But I don't think it's worth it when you're working in pastel. You really can't see very much, so I think it's probably best to not. So I'm just going to move up just a tad. I think that's everything we've done in shot from today. So there are a few more items. What do we do? The bee, the ring and the bottle. And yeah, that'll do us for today, and I'll come back and do a few more items tomorrow. But for now, thank you for watching and happy colouring.